So I get this question all the time, and I mentioned it briefly the other day, but let's go a little more into it. And the question is, can I sell what I do online? Will other people pay me to teach them? How can I make a course from this and make sure that people will buy it? So this is a good question. And usually it's directed towards something like this. And you teach people how to do business. Of course they pay you, and you teach them how to do it better. Oops, I have my little paperwork here today because I want to make sure that you get all of the details about this process. So if you're teaching meditation, if you feel like your gift is to bring more peace into people's lives, maybe to teach them how to be more balanced, I get it. Believe it or not, I'm in that same boat, even though I teach business. So if you've listened to any of the big marketers, as you may know, I have a long history in marketing. I have 2 degrees in business, if you can believe that. And, they talk about the big 4. And those are the things that people need, desire, and look for all the time. And the first one would be money or finance, business, work, right? The second one is relationships. People care about relationships a lot. The third one is health, and lots of stuff fits into health. And the last one would be something like hobbies or sports or kind of extracurricular activities. So those are the ones that people mention as being easy to sell, easier to sell. Everyone who talks about starting a new business tells you you have to be in those 4 places or you're not going to be able to easily sell what you do. I'm going to give you a little bit different take on it as usual. I'm going to move into the feminine, and let's see, there are 2 really good ways to connect with people who need you, because you know that these things are needed because you're doing it out in the world, right? So the very first thing that you could do is just work with people who already understand. They already know that meditation helps them, and that's what they want to learn. And that's one way of doing it. The second way is something I recommend, and what I did is to apply what you do to a problem that people already know they have. Now, let me say that again. You're going to take what you already do, what you love to do, and just apply it in the arena that people are searching for and paying for and need, right? Like the person who goes to teach meditation to the corporate folks. Something like that. I'm going to give you a couple more examples. I'm a good example because my passion is women's empowerment. I want to teach women how to find their voice, how to get more visible, how to get their gifts out into the world with confidence and clarity. That's what I do. That's what I love. And to include all of me, as I was going through this process that you're going through, I thought, wow, but I know how to teach business. And I see a lot of women wanting to put their programs online, wanting to teach a course or hold a group and put it online. So that's how I came up with this. That's why I teach how to put your courses or groups online and how to get them sold. And for me, it's a great fit because I think having a project like that really brings everyone along. People want to make money, they want to share their gifts, and so then they're forced to look at things like confidence and what's my voice and how can I be more visible, where they might not be so motivated if they hadn't done that. We can give a lot of examples. Things like people who teach breath work. They could focus on folks who are new mothers and are in overwhelm. So the more you focus like that, the more the person can say, hey, that's me. And that's your goal. You want people to self-identify. You don't want to have to necessarily talk them into it. All right, so let's say that again. You want to apply your gifts to a problem that people already know they have so that they can self-identify. Now, there is a second way of doing it, and it works just fine, and that is to reach across that knowledge gap. Do you know what I mean? So the knowledge gap is, here's the folks who need what you have, and here's what you do, but they don't understand it. I think I could use yoga as a significant example of that. 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago now, many people had no idea what yoga was. And if you mentioned yoga, you'd have to explain it to them or maybe take them to a class, and then they'd get it, right? Now, if you say yoga, people pretty much know what it is and what they can get from it. And many of them know they need to get back on their mat because it helps them. They've had an experience of it. So there's a little clue. You could give someone an experience of what you do and then talk to them later and say, how was that? How did that feel? Right? Maybe a free experience, kind of like I do with these videos. Okay? So in this case, you're going to have to show them or teach them, how does what I do reach through that gap? And what you do is you try to get really clear with your marketing. You know, if you're offering something that people don't know, I mean, there's two ways to do it, right? You might have some brand new thing. My teacher, Shamali Arda, which I use her example all the time because she teaches a very esoteric something called women's embodiment. And she has women all over the world who signed up. But here's the thing, it started much more slowly. She was absolutely committed to this path and this teaching. And she started with one other woman who was not her student, she was a co-teacher, in her living room years and years ago. So if that's your path, I totally honor that. I totally understand that you don't want to just take your tools and teach something else or apply it to a group who could really help, who you could really help with your work. If you are bringing out something new, something unique, and you need to just stay in that groove, that's great. But otherwise, you could do two different things. You could, number one, apply your gifts, like I said, to a problem that people already know they have. And it's really fun and easeful to do that. You don't have to do it forever, but what's nice is that you actually get people signing up for your work, right? The second thing you can do is help people with your marketing to be very clear and teach them how, bridge that gap, bridge the knowledge gap so that they understand and start to respond to what you do. So I'm going to be going deeper into this in my once a year amazing program that's totally free, and it starts next Monday, a week from tomorrow. So you can sign up down below and we'll go into what to teach, how to bridge some of these gaps and get very clear, how to host what you're doing, whether it's a group or a course online, and then how to sell it effectively, how to get your voice out there, all right? With connection and heart and soul. Sign up down below, and I'll see you next week.